depression isn't real, or rather said, I don't believe in depression. Now, before you click off and start already hating on me, I want to show you something. These are all the different medications I used to take for my depression and my anxiety. You see, 3 years ago today, I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. I want to share my story about that and how I got out of this, but I first want to just enlighten you on something. A lot of people, when I say this, oh, depression isn't real, they get really, really mad, and they get really triggered, and I understand why. And it's because you've been living this social construct, this mental model you've created in your mind that depression is real, and you are where you are, and your current situation is because you're depressed, and that's why your life sucks the way it does. And so the idea of depression not being real is something that's very hard to fathom and grasp, because it means that you have to throw out all the excuses you've made your entire life for being where you are. And that's very hard to do. Trust me, I know this because I was somebody who used to be in this exact spot. But here's the thing. Do you actually like being depressed? Genuinely, do you? Yes or no? If you say yes, you can click out the video, but be my guest. I didn't. I know a lot of people don't either. And so what if there was an alternate universe, an alternate reality where depression wasn't real and you weren't depressed? Wouldn't you at least want to see that? Wouldn't you at least want to try and see if that's something that could work for you? If it could make your life better? I sure did. And I can promise you, I went from taking all those medications I just showed you. As a matter of fact, 3 years ago today, I got diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. I also had an eating disorder. I was on the phone with my doctor, my counselor, my therapist every single day. I was bawling my eyes out in this very room. There was days where I would wake up and I didn't even want to get out of bed. I wish I hadn't even woken up. My life was that bad. It was heading downhill fast. Everything I used to enjoy, I didn't enjoy anymore. All the little things in life that I used to find fun were no longer fun to me. There was no joy in my life. There was no purpose. There was nothing but just emptiness and despair. And I felt lost. I felt really, really lost. And that's when I came across this guy, Andrew Tate. Some of you may know of him. And he started to talk a lot about this depression stuff. And instantly, like anyone, any logical human being, when he said this stuff about depression not being real, I got triggered. I was mad. I was like, what do you mean it's not real? You don't understand. You're not living my life. You don't. And I got really, really mad. And I got really triggered. And I had to reflect and look at myself and go, Stefan, what? Whoa. Like, pause for a second. Like, why are you defending depression as if it's your kid? Why are you defending it as if it's your identity, as if it makes you who you are? Why are you defending it like this? And when I asked myself that, I couldn't give myself a logical answer that made sense. And so I was like, let me just listen and see what he has to say. And over the course of the next few weeks, I start to really, really listen to this idea of, your reality is only what you make of it. Your thoughts control your actions, and your actions control your reality. And if you can control your mind, you can control everything else. And he talked really specifically about depression, how depression is a mental illness, correct? It's not some disease that just floats in the sky and fundamentally changes, your body physically. It's a mental illness, which means it's in your head, right? It's mental. It's in your brain. And I thought about that, and I was like, okay, well, like, if it's in my brain, that means I can control it, right? Because the only thing you can control in this world, you can't control if your heart stops beating tomorrow. You can't control if your lungs stop breathing tomorrow. You can't control if there's going to be a hurricane tomorrow. You can't control if you get in a car crash. The only thing that you actually have genuine control over in this life is your thoughts. That's it. That's the only thing that you truly can control. And so I said, okay. And I looked more into this stuff. And I looked into this idea of confirmation bias, which is that we as humans seek validation all the time in all aspects of life, especially for those beliefs that we really hold, right? And so what happens is when we get introduced to the idea of depression, and people say, oh my goodness, yes, like the reason why you live such a bad life is because you're depressed. You go, oh my goodness, well, I live a bad life, and therefore that must be true, and we seek validation in those things. And so we go, so that must be true. And then you start to talk to your friends, and your friends talk about how you're depressed, and you're like, oh, well, they think I'm depressed, and I think I'm depressed. I'm starting to believe I'm depressed. And then you go talk to your counselor and your therapist and your doctor, and all they say to you is, yes, Stefan, you are depressed. Which confirms in your head and validates the idea that you're depressed, which is the reason why you're not where you want to be, or why you're sad, or why you're this. And so then you buy into the idea that you're depressed. And here's what happens. Anything that you think in this life, in your head, you can make real. Genuinely everything you think you can make real. There was even a story about a guy who had a brain tumor. And he went into the doctor, and the doctor did surgery, whatever, gave him a shot, and the brain tumor went away. Turns out the guy read on the news later that shot wasn't actually effective, and all of a sudden the brain tumor grew back. He went back to the doc and said, hey, doc, look, my tumor's back. And the doc said, hey, man, that stuff is all bullshit. That stuff actually is just a lie, right? I have an even stronger dose. It's double the dosage. I'm going to give it to you. It's going to work even better. Gave him the dosage. It was just salt water. Injected him with salt water. The tumor went away. with salt water. Later, the guy ended up finding out that this news article came out proving that it was fake, and then his tumor grew back. But the point is that the second time around, he gave him salt water, and the tumor went away. Why? Because he believed that it would work. You see, your life, your reality is only what you believe of it. Imagine you and I were in a haunted house. You believe in ghosts, I don't. Bang, 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 bang. Huge knocks in the wind, right? We both wake up. I go, oh, just the way, and I go back to bed. You start freaking out, screaming, you think there's a ghost in the house. Who's right? We don't know. But both those things were very real to us. You believe there's ghosts, and that's very real to you. I believe it was just the wind, and that's very real to me. Does that mean one of us is objectively wrong? I don't know. But it means that your life and your reality is only what you make of it. Right? It's only what you truly make of it. Hence, I start to buy into this idea that the reason, and I even ask myself, Stefan, why are you depressed? Like, genuinely. Like, what are you sad about? And I couldn't actually formulate something that was reasonable. And even if I could, the way I look at this now is, okay, let's say there is a valid reason to be sad. Someone passed away, you lost your dog, whatever the case is. The next day, do you still have to do the same things? Like, let's say if it's a Monday, right? And you're sad, your cat passed away. And Tuesday, you have to go back to work. Whether or not you're sad or happy, do you still have to go back to work? Well, yes. Okay. So if you still have to do the same things regardless of how you feel, wouldn't you just rather feel good? And I know it's easier said than done, but let me continue on here, right? But wouldn't you at least rather feel good, right? Probably. Me too. And so the cool thing is we can control that because once again, it's in our head. And so what I started doing is after I started to listen to Tate and realize that depression is only a belief, I stopped believing in it. And the thing is, when you stop believing something, you stop giving that thing power. Because what you believe is what you give power to. And so when you believe things, you give power to it, and therefore that thing is real in your life. Right? Have you ever argued with someone and you might have been totally right and 100% the facts were right, but the person just couldn't see your point of view. And you were so confused you didn't understand, why can't they understand me? I'm right, the facts are here, but they just don't see it. It's because they have believed in their mind that that is not true. And so even if the facts can be presented with them, people have confirmation bias to believe their idea. And when somebody so firmly believes, no matter how much facts and proof you show them and evidence, they will believe that their thing is real because that is real to them. Because what is real to you is only what you make real to you. It's not objectively real in this world. It's only what you make real. Your life, your reality isn't actually real. It's just what you make real. It's not objectively real in the grand scheme of things. It's just what you make real. Okay? Anyways, after watching some of these videos, I started to say to myself, Stefan, you're not depressed. I stopped taking all the medication, which is why I have it sitting here in these little bottles. Okay? Because I just stopped taking it out of nowhere. And I started to wake up every single day, and the first thing I did is be grateful, because you cannot be grateful and anxious at the same time. It's not physically possible. The chemicals in the brain cannot be wired that way. And so you cannot be grateful and anxious. So I woke up every single day being grateful. And the cool thing is when there's this idea that when you look for something, you find it. Right? And that's confirmation bias. When you look for something, you find it. And so when you look for reasons to be sad, you will find reasons to be sad. If you look for reasons to be happy, you will find reasons to be happy. And right now, if you ask anybody to write down 10 things you're sad about, 10 things that are going bad in your life, they will write down 10 things very quickly. If you ask them write down 10 things that are going good in your life, 10 things you're grateful for, it'll take them a really long time. Why? Because we constantly seek for the bad things, the negative things. And what happens when you're always looking for the negative things? Well, law of attraction, what you put out comes back to you. And when you only look for negative, you'll only find negative. It's the red car theory. The last time you drove, how many red cars did you see exactly? Like with 100% confidence, how many did you see? Well, you can't say because you don't know because you weren't looking for them. And it's this idea that when you look for something, you will find it. So when you look for reasons to be sad, you will find reasons to be sad. The cool thing is it works the flip side with being happy. If you look for reasons to be happy and grateful, you will find reasons. And the amazing thing was when I started to wake up and be grateful, there was an abundance of things to be grateful for when I started to look for things to be grateful for. And so I would wake up and be like, man, I am so grateful for the fact that the sun is shining. And I'm also grateful for the fact that I have curtains to block the sun from shining. I'm grateful for the fact that I have Vaseline I can put on my lips because I have really dry lips when I sleep. I'm grateful for the fact that I have 3 blankets on me so that I can be warm during the night. I'm grateful I have 2 pillows so I can switch to whatever one I want. I'm grateful for the fact that I have a roof over my head, right? I have food in my fridge. I have electricity that works. I have a toothbrush to keep my teeth nice and clean. I have a razor to keep my face all beautiful, right? I have shampoo to, make my hair nice. I'm thankful for, the books I get to read to bring knowledge in my life. And I start looking around the room and I'm like, man, I'm thankful for that charger to charge my phone so I can call my mom when I want to. I'm thankful for these glasses so my eyes don't hurt when I'm editing videos. I'm thankful for this hair gel so I can style my hair in a nice way that makes me feel more confident. Man, I'm thankful for the fact there's mountains outside that I'm able to go explore. And there's roads that are paved for me to drive my car. Heck, I'm thankful for the fact that I have a car. Heck, I'm thankful for the fact that I have enough money to put gas in my car so I can go places. And you just start looking, you're like, oh my goodness, there's so many things to be grateful for. And after sitting there for a while and just listing everything that I'm grateful for, I instantly started my day on a positive note. And it was amazing. I would then go into the mirror and I'd look in the mirror and say, Stefan, you are awesome. Stefan, you're awesome. And I would just start repeating positive affirmations to plant the seed in my mind of good thoughts. I would then, I kid you not, I would grab my JBL Flip 3, it's a red speaker, it's laying over there, and I would play Michael Bublé, It's a Beautiful Day. Every single day I'd play the same song, and I would just sit in the kitchen, hopefully if it was sunny, I'd look at the sun, and I would just dance like a fucking idiot, right? But I would just tell myself, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, and start to act like it as well. And the cool thing is sooner than later, I actually started to become happy. As a matter of fact, I became so happy, so energetic, so passionate. People started asking me, Stefan, what happened? Where do you get your energy from? How are you so passionate, so infectious, so energetic all the time? At any given moment, what drugs are you on? Genuinely, people ask me this. What drugs? I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do any of that stuff. Right? Stefan, like, how much caffeine do you take? Don't ever drink coffee, really, to be honest. They're like, what? How can you? I'm like, dude, there's so many things to be grateful for. There's so many things to be excited about in this life. People just don't look for them. And when you don't look for them, you won't see them. And so the problem is everyone's always looking for negative things. And the thing is with depression, it's very bad. And that's why the thing is, depression is real for people that believe in it. And I believe that. It's real if you believe in it. And that's why what happens is when you talk about depression, all you do is talk to your counselor about how you're depressed. And your counselor goes, yes, 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 you are. And saying confirmation bias, you start to validate and believe the idea that yes, you are depressed. And more you talk about it, the more you start to believe that you are depressed. Right? And once again, whether it's real or not, doesn't matter. You start to believe it. Right? If you talk to someone, imagine if you talk to someone every single day, about how you are, I don't know, let's just say something outrageous, like you are an ice cream man. If you talk to them every single day about how you're an ice cream man, every single day for the next 20 years, eventually you become an ice cream man, whatever the fuck that means, right? It's the idea that whatever we put in our head is what comes to reality, which is why you are some of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you spend your time with good people, you'll become a good person, right? If you spend your time with losers, you'll become a loser. That's how it works. That's why these friend groups, typically, you don't see a friend group of like one really successful guy and one loser guy and one this guy and one pot smoker and one virgin and one, you see groups of people are typically the same because you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and typically these people's characteristics and attributes wear off on each other to the point where they all simultaneously become the same person. Right, which typically why when you see friend groups, if you look at your friend group, right, typically a lot of you are kind of the same, right, because that's how it works. Anyways, it was fascinating because I was like, wow, like no wonder why I'm so sad. All I'm doing all the time is talking about how sad I am. As a matter of fact, I even had competitions with my roommates on who was sadder, who was taking more depression medication, and if you were taking less, you're the loser. Think about that concept. If you were taking the least amount of depression medication, you would be a loser because you were the least depressed. Now, let's take a totally different approach to this whole depression thing, which is I have a buddy who'd been on, like, depression medication for, like, 8 years. If antidepressants were supposed to make you less depressed, then why is he still on them 8 years later? And as a matter of fact, his life has only gotten worse. Interesting. Let's take it from a different approach. Imagine if you own a business. Okay, imagine if you, okay, own a coffee shop. What would be your primary objective? Well, it would be to sell coffees. The more coffee you make, the more money you make. You have to pay for your bills, etc. Right? So you got to sell more coffee. Cool. So imagine if you owned an antidepressant medication company. What would be your main goal? To sell more antidepressants. Right? And so what happens if you actually cure your patients? What happens? You lose them. You lose them, right? If you actually make them feel better, you would lose your patients. And guess what? That's not a very good business model from a purely monetary perspective, which for context, the people at the top have no morals, they have no ethics, they don't give 2 fucks. And so when I tell you they do this, they do. If you don't believe me, that's fine. Be depressed all you want. Does it help you? No, it doesn't. So why, there's this idea that you should only hold beliefs that serve you. Only hold beliefs that serve you. Only hold beliefs and believe things that make your life better. So let me ask you this question. Does depression make your life better? No. So why are you believing in it? Once again, what you make real is only what you make real. It's only what you believe. It's only what you give the power to. And so it's your choice. Right? I'm not saying that in the grand scheme that, that people can't feel depressed. Depression in and of itself is a thing. You can feel depressed, but I do not believe that you can identify and become depression. People nowadays, you'll meet someone like, hey, I'm depressed. It's like, oh, hi, depressed, I'm Stefan, nice to meet you. Like, the fuck? Like, why are you introducing yourself as if you are this person? Like, depression isn't a person, it's not an identity, it's a feeling. You can feel depressed, that's fine, but you can't just catch this thing from the fucking sky and all of a sudden, you've transformed and, mutated into this new disease. Like, no, that's not how it works, right? And so this idea that you are this person is not true. You are you. You can feel depressed. That's fine. But don't let that dictate and control your entire life. And of course, everyone's going, oh, it's the one that's easier said than done. Yeah, of course. But here's the thing. I've done it. I've been on every fucking medication. I've been on so many different medications. Like, we tried all the different ones because none of them fucking worked. You know why? Because they're not supposed to work. Because if they worked, then they wouldn't make any money. And so we kept trying different ones and none of them ever worked. Why? Because they're not supposed to work. That's why I don't believe in depression. Whether or not the depression in of itself is objectively a real thing you can get or not, doesn't matter. Because I don't want to believe in that idea, because I don't want to have that be a possibility in my life. Right? The same way that some people are like, oh, I don't believe in making $1 million. Well, here's the thing. Whether or not you can or cannot make $1 million, you believing that you can't will not help you in the pursuit of making $1 million. And so your best bet is to just believe. Because if you don't believe, nothing else will happen. Right? Everything starts with belief, and it's so cliche, but it's so true. Everything starts with belief, and if you cannot believe, you cannot do it. Because if you can't believe, if you can't believe in something, you won't see it. You won't see the idea of it, and therefore you won't do it. Right? If you can't believe that working out would make you would put you in better shape and that would help your life out, you wouldn't work out. But the reason why a lot of people do work out is because they see that working out can make their life better and can transform the way they see themselves. And as a result, since they believe that, they will then do it. If you don't believe in it, you wouldn't do it. Right? If you didn't believe that working out would get you muscles, you wouldn't do it. The same way anything in life, right? Like, imagine if you were hungry and you went to McDonald's, for example, to get a burger. If you didn't believe the burger would fill you up and whatever the case is, you wouldn't buy the burger. Like, you just wouldn't buy it if you didn't believe it would fill you up. The only reason why you buy the burger is because you believe that the burger will fill you up. And the only reason you believe that is because of past and prior experience that you've been exposed to that shows, hey, there's a high likelihood that when I eat this burger, I will be full. So that makes you believe. Right? Once again, it's all because of belief. If you don't believe, you wouldn't do it. Right? If you truly believe that the next time you step foot out your house, you were going to get murdered, you would not leave your house. If you truly believe that, you would not leave your house. You would not leave your house. Whether that's true or not, doesn't matter. If you believe that, you wouldn't leave your house. People have these superstitions all the time, like, oh, I'm not getting on that plane. That plane is crazy. And if they believe that, they will not get on the plane because they believe that. Whether or not it's true or not, doesn't matter. That's what they believe, and therefore it's real in their mind. And so the point is that the things that are real in your life aren't objectively real. And I want to tell you that. The things in your life that you're feeling, experience aren't objectively real. You've just made them real by believing them. And so if you stop believing them, you will genuinely take away their power and they will no longer be real to you anymore. It's crazy how that works. The mind is a fascinating thing which isn't merely talked about enough, let alone in the right context. There's actually a really good book called The Winner Effect, which talks a lot about these concepts of the mind. Right? And how powerful the mind is and how you can quite literally control your reality based on your mindset and the way you see things. But it all starts with your head and your belief. Right? And so, yeah, I don't believe in depression. And I'll tell you what, I've only been happier, made more money, and been more at peace ever since I stopped believing that. My life has not gotten worse since believing that depression isn't real. It has only gotten better. And that's why I'm such a huge proponent and believe things that give you power. Hold beliefs that serve you well, not that don't serve you well. Because that will make your life worse. And so I urge you to look at every belief that you have and also genuinely ask, where did this belief come from? Where did I create this belief from? Who gave me this belief? And the people that gave me this belief, do they truly, and I mean truly, have my best interest at heart? Ask yourself that. And more often than not, if you really look into it, they don't really care about you. And so why are you listening to them and deciding how to live your life based on somebody else's opinion that doesn't even care about you? It doesn't make any sense. So, bro, if you're someone that struggles with depression, I hope this helped you, bro. Like, I went from being a fucking... You can even look at some old videos. I have videos of me crying. I've posted some videos on my story where I talk about this, where you can see a picture of me fucking crying, if you so please, to see how fucked up my life was. And I've now live a pretty cool life, I like to think. Okay? And the thing is, you can do the same. I, in the moment, didn't think it was possible either until I did, and then it became possible. The second I believe it was possible, it did become possible. And I urge you to do the same. So when you believe, you'll make it happen. Okay? And if you like my help, my guidance, right? If you just want to talk to me, say what's up, ask me questions. Okay, I talk to every single person. You can join. You can join my school community down below. It's free. You can join my Discord. It's free. You can DM me on Instagram, whatever you so please. You can even comment. I respond to every comment here. Yeah, I just hope that this video can inspire you, because Andrew Tate's videos inspired me and got me out of depression. If this can just help one singular person, then it's been worth it. It's been worth it sharing my story and some of the lessons I've learned that have really helped me out a lot. So that is truly just my goal, is to inspire you so you can become a better version of who you are. So you can go out there and conquer and do the things you want to do and provide and protect for those you love. That is my only goal. It's just to make you a better human being. That's all. Love you, bro. Peace.